Hey cousins, check in with me today. Today is the 2nd of April. Okay, we are in April. Hey, amen. But listen, I will stop by for a real quick second because I wanted to bring something to your attention, and I don't know if we really talk about this enough, or is it just something that's supposed to be known, right? So um, when we are accountable, I've heard a lot of people just be accountable to the surface level addictions. I don't smoke cigarettes no more. I don't drink alcohol no more. I don't eat potato chips no more. I'm a vegan now. All of the surface level addictions. But I rarely hear people say, excuse me, eating this burger. I rarely hear people say, I'm not addicted to gossiping anymore. I'm not addicted to the judgment spirit. I'm not addicted to pointing the finger anymore. I'm not addicted to listening and receiving gossip and becoming a person of a seesaw of discord. We don't really get into that place of that's addictions too. And I'm like, okay, so do we not know that those are addictions too? Granted, everybody may not be accountable to that capacity to understand that those are addictions too. But let's just table this for a second, cousins, because don't just, be so one dimensional. Don't be just so one dimensional. Because I would never speak down on anybody that has transitioned from smoking cigarettes, because I'm very transparent, cousins. I tell you all the time, I used to smoke Newports 100. Do not ask why I thought smoking hundreds was the answer. But anyway, let's move past that, okay? The box, by the way. The box, not the soft pack. But I used to smoke cigarettes, right? And I used to have the additional recreationals, and I wasn't smoking mid, okay? I wasn't even a mid smoker. So I would never talk down on anybody that's coming out of that era in their life. I used to drink tequila every day. And not just even so much as in my grief stages, but more importantly in my grief stages, right? But again, the transition out of addictions, is that what it is? But I just want to know, do we have an account that it's not just that? Fornication is not so much as physical as it is as the spirit of Jezebel, because it's a manipulation. It's a, like, are we at that place? And just a question. I just want to put it on the table. So as I was sitting here eating my little Whopper Jr., I said, let me go ask my cousins. Side note, excuse how I sound because my allergies are starting to run amok, now that the weather's changing. Clearly, I can feel that the weather's changing, okay? But no, seriously, an awareness of make sure you can identify all your addictions. I don't call that person no more because that's an addiction. Desiring a person can become a level of addiction. Shoes can be an addiction. I.e. personally, for myself, transparency, cousins, I think I just told somebody for my birthday, they was like, hey, I want to get you some shoes. And I was like, no, don't. Now, to know me is to know I love me a good gym shoe. And a heel too. But now listen. When you break in addictions, you got to break it in all capacities. That's not just what you do for yourself. That's what other people do for you and how they bring you back to it. Okay? Control. Self-control, right? You have to exercise self-control. So that was my question for today, cousins. All right, listen, this is still the progress now of a widow. This is still the progress of a widow. And please check out my Widow's Wife podcast. On my YouTube channel. Okay? And be on the lookout for what? Merch.